not really fulfilling the purpose of what a school education is supposed to provide. You see, there was a time when you could become a teacher with 10th standard education, then it's 12th standard education. Today, to be a teacher, you need to have a bachelor's degree, then a B.Ed. Personally, I don't have a problem with this because teaching is a very, very, very specific profession where a lot of education should have gone into before the teaching happens. But my basic question is, do you really need to learn BSc Physics to teach, say, primary school, first standard to fifth standard? Because honestly, I don't think so. I mean, what in the world? The BSc English for teaching first standard to fifth standard. There is some kind of disconnect happening when this kind of stuff starts coming in. Now, if you're teaching specifically maths or English, or let's say science, because science also comes in, right? If you're teaching these subjects, first standard to fifth standard is not that hard. It's not that hard to teach these things. So I do have some problem with how we are thinking of education and job opportunities. Because I think we're leaving out a lot of potential. The reason why these things concern me and why I'm raising these points is not because I don't want people to learn college. But you see, I've seen a lot of people drop out of college not because they didn't have the money, but because they couldn't complete it. Yeah. Whether those are hard courses or easy courses, A lot of people drop out because they're not motivated. See, the problem with our education system is that it promises you nothing, but it tells you keep studying, do master's degree, do PhD, do postdoctoral, and then you become a teacher or a professor, and then you again keep studying. And this idea of gaining infinite knowledge, countless degrees, commendations, it's really holding us all back, if I'm being honest with you. If you look at the balance of net benefit to net loss, I don't think it's net benefit. I think it's a net loss. Today, people that study master's degree in many courses don't really get jobs proportional to what they've earned. Many people. For bachelor's degree, again, this is also true. Right? What is happening is we're creating a workforce that is highly educated. So we're creating a supply of educated workforce, but we don't have a demand for it. There are, of course, many reasons for it. One is because we don't have the entrepreneurial mindset. So only if you have the entrepreneurial mindset, you will have jobs to give to people. I mean, there are countries where there are so many jobs available. They have to fill in people from outside the country into those jobs. Our country is not like that. Our country is not a job-creating economy. It's a job-seeking economy. And this is the reason why too many people with high degrees and specific degrees, it'll create an issue. It's already created a lot of issues. A lot of people finish college and they don't have a relatable job. They finish engineering, they don't do engineering. It's not like this is a very uncommon thing. It's very common. And what's interesting about this whole thing is that our colleges are, including so many engineering syllabus requirements in maths, physics, and chemistry and even computer. But unfortunately, if you want to teach computer in 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, that becomes an issue. They're like, oh, so you want to create people that know computer skills so that they can enter into the job market. Is school only for entering into the job market? Well, I think that's a very, very bad argument because, yes, you study in school so that when you finish it, you can enter into a job market or you can create businesses that give jobs. This idea that learning computer science at school level is a bad idea is crazy, you know. I ask the same question: why should we learn physics or chemistry in school, but not computer? Why? I don't understand the connection between learning physics and chemistry is okay, yeah, but studying computer is bad. It really doesn't hit me, and I'm very sorry. It just doesn't. I don't agree with this. I think it's foolish to think of education that way. The non-negotiables are history and geography because those are essential to know. You have to know the history, your local history, your country's history. You have to know your state's history, the kings of the region's history, everything, right? After that, everything else is actually, it's beyond the scope of the education system, actually. So everything else that you learn is actually, you're learning for skills for the job market. So the idea that children should not be taught computer science courses, it's very foolish if I'm being absolutely honest with you. It really doesn't reconcile with me why that is wrong. But there are a lot of arguments for it, for why that is wrong. And people hating White Hat Junior. Now, I don't know what White Hat Junior is. I just see the memes. But I don't know. Is it really that bad to teach young children computer science? I honestly don't think so. I don't think so. It's thinking like that is actually putting your child behind the progress mark. Kids all over the world are learning skills like robotics and computer science. And if you're telling me those are bad skills, you have to go and check whatever, because there's something absolutely wrong with that kind of thinking. But, yeah. And I do feel like this hyper focus on just science is also kind of detrimental. One of the reasons is because, when you look at archaeological studies, people that learn history and excavations and all this, you don't really have too many jobs for it. You don't have jobs for it because people are not interested, right? People, when they get into a job, they want to buy food, clothing, shelter. Archaeology is like, it's really not anybody's passion if we're being absolutely honest here. There's no money to be made in archaeology except in the trade business. If you find a great thing, you can sell it and make a lot of money, but even that's not possible in India. You have to give heritage stuff to governments and politicians. So the whole motivation for being in the history field is very little because research is not done there. And I think that's bad and good. It's bad because it means that history is a dying field. It's good because history is not the most important field, but it's necessary. Especially if you're going into the political field or if you're trying to understand the world as it is today, which is very important in business. Very important to understand how successful people did stuff. When we learn about kings that ruled for many years and they ruled very well, the people liked them, actually liked them, right? You have to understand that they did something right. It was not just giving away freebies or whatever, but it was creating jobs, it was boosting the economy, it was culturally being affable, socially being affable, and all those other aspects. And we need to value those skills, and only history can teach us some of those valuable skills. But again, not only history, there are other topics. I'm just talking on a more temporal level. History is a very good way of learning what works and what doesn't work. Just learning about communism and capitalism. Again, both systems have their flaws and strengths and weaknesses, but if you look at the net result, it's very easy to say that capitalistic societies have flourished much better. And how do you know that? It's because there's historic record. But who's keeping historic record? See, there are records created. People write books and they sell, they make money. But to actually compile them and make them part of history, it has to be somebody's job. That kind of job is never done in today's day and age. What we think of history is, okay, there's a database, and let's just throw it all into that database. Somebody will somehow figure it all out and put it out in history. Well, that's interesting and not interesting. Because unfortunately today what's happening is the people who actually keep history are journalists. And, I think that's a terrible idea. I'm really sorry, but I think that's a terrible idea, to give journalists the power to keep history. Because here's the thing, journalists can be easily bought and paid for, basically. They don't do analytical studies on many things. They know how to report news, that's it. There are people that write reports based on analysis, in history. Those are historians. They not only find reports, they not only find results, interesting things, they record them. They put them in sequential order. They study the timeline. They study the different facets of it to give reports and results. To give journalists the access to that kind of power of keeping records is fatal, because journalists have got very strong opinions, and to have very strong opinions is really detrimental in some of these fields, but in some of these fields. And this is why I think we need people that have got fully formed brains, not just memory skills, to go into the history field, don't we? One thing that's again interesting is that even the history field today uses computerized technology. And again, this reinforces the point that even if you don't end up doing something related to computer science, even if you're doing geography, today all weather reports are given by satellite data, image processing, sound processing, study of winds and seas, sensors, right? Basically, you need to have computer science skills, computer programming skills, if you're a geologist too. Whether you're studying a rock, whether you're studying the weather, whether you're studying volcanoes, whether you're studying patterns of the earth, whether you're studying, formation of seas and lands and mountains, you need to have basic computer science skills. So how is it that learning computer science is not good, but physics and chemistry is okay? When in fact even physics and chemistry today uses computer, massively. The idea that a fully formed brain with all of these information, like multiple skills, critical reasoning, detail-oriented, crisp-oriented, meaning people that can take large data and compress it, people that can take small data and expand on it. All of these abilities are crucial, not just for science and math, crucial in every field. So the school must be able to develop those skills. We should have syllabuses that develop those skills. And the emphasis on developing those skills should be at least till 10 standard. It should be there. At least till 10 standards. So those standards of just brain development, pure brain development should be the only standard till 10 standard. Thank you for listening. Consider liking the video and comment if you have an opinion. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos of this kind. Thank you.